Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to you sincere and hopeful elect brothers pushing the word of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai in spirit and in truth. Coming back at you with another lesson. And in this lesson, I want to get into the reward that we have waiting for us, all right, for doing the will in this work, doing the will of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. There's a recompense that comes with it, all right, a righteous recompense. So this is Hebrews 10 and 35. In the KJV, it says, "Cast not away therefore your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward." Okay. In the NLT, it says, "So do not throw away this confident trust in the Lord, remembering the great reward it brings you." Okay. So having confidence in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is something that's going to bring a great reward, to the elect brothers, all right, the elect members. Okay. So in this world, people have confidence in this world, but nothing in this world is actually guaranteed. Okay, nothing is actually guaranteed. But having faith and trust and confidence in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is a guaranteed, a guaranteed a staple, so to say. All right. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is a rock. Yahweh Shai is a trusted source. Okay, so to say. This world is not trustworthy. All right, but Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is. Okay, because Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai comes through in the nick of time, every time. Okay, but you got to have that confident faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So verse 36, it says, "For ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of the Most High, ye might receive the promise." All right. In NLT, it says, "Patient endurance is what you need now, so that you will continue to do the Most High's will. Then you will receive all that He has promised." All right. So, this journey that we are on is pretty much, a patient traveling, a patient journey, a patient quest, that we embark upon when we come to the Lord and we put our hand to the plow. Patience is needed. Okay. Patience is needed. Look at the apostles for an example. The apostles and elders, been in 10, well, so like not even that, when I came into the truth, the apostles was in the truth for, 30, 30 years, 25, 30 years, things of that nature. All right. 20 years for some of the, bishops, at that time. Okay. And time has passed and they're still patiently enduring, what it is that the Lord has them go through because, the expectation of receiving that reward. Okay. So the apostles and elders are great examples of, as it says in NLT, once again, patient endurance is what you need now so that you will continue to do the Most High's will. Then you will receive all that He has promised. Okay. So you actually have to have faith that doing the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to lead to you receiving what the Heavenly Father has promised us as a nation. All right. And it starts with salvation. Okay, so verse 37 in the KJV it says, for yet a little while, and he that shall come will come and will not tarry. All right, because pretty much we're waiting for Yahweh Shai. You know, wherever brothers is, stationed at to bring out the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai in the various regions of Babylon. All right, as well as around the world. But that's the bus stop. Okay, and Yahweh Shai is the bus driver, so to say. Okay, so knowing that, you know, you got to have that faith and be assured that Yahweh Shai is gonna come. Okay, he ain't just gonna leave us here, with all this crazy shit going on, and it's gonna escalate and get worse. Okay, and Jacob's trouble when the lid blows off the pot, it's gonna be bad. All right, and the icing on the cake being the thermonuclear missiles. You got to be assured in your spirit that Yahweh Shai is gonna come. Okay, it says now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul. So brothers don't draw back into this world, okay? Because this world leads to destruction. All right, this world is filled with death and destruction, and if you fall back or fall away and draw back to this world, it's assured that you're gonna receive of that destruction. Okay, and there's guys that do that because they don't have that patience. They don't have as I said, confident trust in the Lord. Okay, so I want to read verse 37 through 39 in the NLT. It says, "For in just a little while, the coming one will come and not delay." All right, and that one that's due to come and deliver us is Yahweh Shai. Okay, verse 38. It says, "And my righteous ones will live by faith, but I will take no pleasure in anyone who turns away. But we are not like those who turn away from the Most High to their own destruction. We are the faithful ones whose souls will be saved." Abaratazah, out of one Ratazah, our souls will be saved. All right, so always keep in your mind that understanding what it is that you're trying to achieve with doing this work. Okay, you're trying to achieve salvation via Yahweh Shai. Okay, because what else is there, man? What else is there for us? There's nothing for these people in this world. So how much more us? All right. Romans 13 and 11. It says, "And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed." So that's the beautiful thing. From the point you start believing in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you're only getting closer to salvation. Abaratazah. Like brothers was talking yesterday. Me and some brothers and brothers was mentioning, brothers' ages and whatnot. And brothers was saying like, man, we're closer to 50 years old than 30, certain of us brothers. And that's crazy to think, brothers came in when we was in our early 20s, mid 20s. Certain brothers was teenagers, and now brothers is closer to 50 years old than 30 years old, But from the point when you start believing in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you're getting closer to salvation. All right, which is a beautiful thought. This shit is not gonna last forever. Verse 12, it says, "The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light." All right, so I'm gonna read this in a NLT. Verse 12, it says, "The night is almost gone. The day of salvation will soon be here." All right, because presently this is night. All right, spiritually, here this world is experiencing night. Because in a wicked society, um, a lot of the demons, carry out a lot of their evil at night. Wicked people use the cover of night to do evil. To do all kind of evil acts and things of that nature. Okay, so the water to Yahbashim Yahushua that the day is almost here. Okay, being starting with our salvation, it says the day of salvation will soon be here. So remove your dark deeds like dirty clothes and put on the shining armor of right living. All right, and that's what brothers actually do when they come to serve the Lord. You put on the shining armor of right living, which is why brothers are spectacles, man. Everywhere brothers go, we're spectacles, because these people are spiritually living in a world that's covered in darkness. And when brothers come around, we are the light. So spiritually, when they see us, it's like looking at a big old flashlight, or some type of source of light, and they wondering where it come from, because they used to looking at darkness. Okay, but that's because the Holy Spirit is upon us, and brothers have put on the shining armor of right living. All right, which takes faith to do that. Verse 13, KJV, it says, "Let us walk honestly in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof." All right, so I'm going to read that from 13 in the NLT. It says, "Because we belong to the day, we must live decent lives for all to see." Okay, we got to be examples. Don't participate in the darkness of wild parties and drunkenness, or in sexual promiscuity and immoral living, or in quarreling and jealousy. Okay, because all those acts mentioned are what the world is heavily participate. That's what the world participates in. All right, wild parties and drunkenness, sexual promiscuity. These women just being, whores. All right, women with women, men with men. Just total abominable living. We ain't to participate or partake or participate in any of that. Okay, which is why we condemn it. Okay, and in a matter of fact, in the book of Tobit, it goes into that type of lifestyle leads to famine. Okay, so that's the reason why the actions and the living, the way these people live in this society is they're pretty much bringing about their destruction. But before that, the Lord is actually going to dry up this place, man, to where water is going to be scarce, food is going to be scarce. Okay, and it's all strategically being done. Look at with the migrants. being deported and whatnot. Nobody's picking the fruit in the fields, on these farms and all that. So the Lord is a master chess player, and He's going to bring about, an actual famine because of, and one of the reasons why is because of, the deeds and the actions and the life that these wicked people here in Babylon live, man. Verse 14, it said, instead, clothe yourself with the presence of the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and don't let yourself think about ways to indulge your evil desires. Okay, you got to constantly, check yourself, man. All right. Like King David said, examine me, and matter of fact, what is it? Let me see. Hold on, give me a second real quick. Let me grab this precept. All right, yeah, this is 2 Corinthians 13. Let me see. What is it? Yeah, 13 and 6. All right, so 2 Corinthians 13 and 6, or 13 and 5, it says, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. All right, but I trust that ye shall know that we are not reprobates. Okay, so constantly checking yourself, getting on yourself, examining yourself, is what a man of the Lord does, because these people in this world, the tribes, the 12 tribes in this world, in Babylon, and the world period, they don't do that. They don't check themselves, okay, because they're walking in darkness. And we are not walking in darkness. We are walking in the light of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So, our confidence and trust in the Lord is going to lead to a recompense of salvation, of the saving of our souls. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the lesson. Abaratazah, brothers was edified. Till next time, shalom.